Now, Italian film great Bernardo Bertolucci has died. He was known to filmgoers around the world for his Oscar-winning movie, The Last Emperor, or the erotic and controversial drama starring Marlon Brando, Last Tango in Paris. Despite working with A-list American and international stars, Bertolucci always defended his own filmmaking style against what he said was the pressure from the U.S. film industry. Bertolucci was considered one of the giants of Italian and world cinema. He won an honorary Palme d'Or for his life's work at the 2011 Cannes Film Festival. Well, he died at his home in Rome, aged 77. And to talk more about reaction from Rome, let's bring in our correspondent, Seema Gupta. Seema, tell us a bit more about what people have been saying there so far on hearing the news of Bertolucci's death.
Well, what we do know about him is that he's the great maestro, really, of Italian cinema. His name up there along with Fellini and Pasolini. And so, of course, as expected here in Italy, the Italian media leading with this story, his name, Bertolucci, trending on social media. A lot of shock about his death, but he was not in the best of health, and having died here in Rome today at the age of 77, it cannot be underestimated the impact that he's had on Italian cinema and on young Italian film directors. Names such as Luca Guadagnino, who's known for his Call Me By Your Name film released a few years ago, he having expressed in the past about the impact that Bertolucci had on his life and his work. And so also interesting to note that Bernardo Bertolucci, really the only Italian director to ever win an Oscar for Best Director.
Seema, Bertolucci was also quite a character and a bit controversial as well.
Yes, indeed. I mean, particularly on that film you mentioned, The Last Tango in Paris, which was released in the 70s. At the time, it caused an uproar because of this controversial sex scene involving butter. As a result, it was banned in several countries. And this controversy was reignited just a few years ago, back in 2016, when some tape revealed that Bertolucci, as well as the star in the film, Marlon Brando, were both aware of what they were going to do in the scene involving Maria Schneider, but they did not inform her before the scene took place. Schneider went on to say that she did feel somewhat violated as a result of this scene, and that controversy breaking just before the entire Me Too movement came about in Hollywood. So really some controversy there. He was also known for the length of his film. He was involved in doing the epic historical film 1900, which starred some major Hollywood stars such as Robert De Niro, as well as Burt Lancaster. And in that film, the director's cut was some 5 hours and 17 minutes. The studios, of course, did not want to release such a lengthy film, and eventually it was cut down to some 3 hours or so.
Seema, Bertolucci's last feature was actually his first film in Italian in over 20 years, and it was actually shot just around the corner from where you are.
Exactly. I mean, it caused quite a buzz here in the neighborhood. It was shot just round the corner from where I'm standing right now. And at that time, Bertolucci was already in a wheelchair, having suffered reports that he suffered botched back surgeries and so was unable to walk. But he continued his work. And that film, the last feature film he directed, was a coming-of-age drama based on an Italian novel entitled Me and You, and it was his last film really in the Italian language, the first one in some 23 years. But really there was a lot of buzz even here locally in the city of Rome as a result of the fact that he was shooting that film. People were watching him from the outside. I understand from those that were involved in that particular scene, they said he was silent, contained, giving the instructions that were necessary. Clearly a film great at work, and someone who will be remembered here in the city of Rome and definitely in all of Italy, if not also in world cinema.
That's certainly the case. Seema, thank you for that. Seema Gupta there reporting from Rome on the death of the Oscar-winning filmmaker Bernardo Bertolucci.